I'm about to introduce you to Nick and the fascinating story of how he turned to creative real estate investing after his job loss to create a better financial future for him and his family. So if you're looking to take control over your financial life, you're going to love this inspiring interview. Hi, I'm Brian Bush with Freedom Mentor, and for nearly 20 years, our team has transformed people from all walks of life into incredibly successful real estate professionals who now have complete control over their financial future. Our audience has shared with us how helpful it is when we provide real-world stories of people that have achieved tremendous success in real estate. I have the pleasure today to introduce you to a wonderful guy who, like some of you, was at a crossroads when he was laid off and he made the decision to take control by turning to Freedom Mentor to teach him how to build a real estate business that would provide financial freedom for him and his family. Throughout this interview, if you have questions, text FREEDOM to 305-315-8030 or comment below. Now let's meet Nick. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited you're here and able to take time to sit down with us. As you know, we really enjoy educating others with these interviews and hopefully providing inspiration as well. You had a memorable journey with us. We worked on a variety of deals together, and you had some ups and downs that came with great lessons. And so I appreciate you taking time today to share some of those experiences with us. So Nick, take me back to where you were before you started. What led you to pursuing real estate?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Brian. It's my pleasure to do the interview because you guys have done so much for me over the time we've worked together. So thank you first and foremost. But to bring you back to the beginning, where I started was I had actually lost my full-time job that I had, and I was kind of just looking for the next path, kind of in a crossroads. And I'd always been attracted to real estate. It seemed like just a smart thing to get into, given all the wealth that's been created in the industry. So I started, just researching online and getting an idea of what type of education was out there. To me, I was looking for someone to coach me along the way because I had another business and kind of something that I did myself. And I learned all the lessons the hard way, right? And so I was thinking, well, how can I, close the gap and take this really seriously? So that's how I got introduced to you guys. And thankfully, my wife was on board. She was definitely very hesitant at first because it was like a new industry. Granted, I had no experience in real estate. So she was a little bit nervous and scared that I was going to be going into something I didn't have experience in, providing for our family with that. And then on top of that, investing into some education. So, but after I was able to, walk her through the program and everything that you guys had been able to, all the resources you guys were able to give me, she felt a lot more comfortable. And of course, she believed in me. So we decided to make the jump.
Wonderful. Now, you've worked in a business online. You're more of an entrepreneur at heart, so I'm sure you always do lots of research. Why did you choose Freedom Mentor?
I did a lot of research, actually. I scoured the internet. I went on YouTube. I went, online, read articles. I came across Phil's YouTube channel first, and I was, consuming his content. He was putting out really solid content, and I was looking for someone that was, practicing what they preach, first of all, because what I didn't want to do was like get into a program with someone who was no longer like actually, doing deals at the end of the day, because things are changing all the time. As we know, markets change. I mean, look, all the ups and downs we've had over the last few years. So it's very important to me to find someone that was doing it and had a lot of experience to back it up. And then the structure of the program also was important to me. So the fact that you guys had like daily coaching calls that I could, multiple daily coaching calls, was very, very conducive for my schedule. And being able to actually get immediate feedback and immediate advice on what I was working on was super important to me. And then on top of that, I actually also listened to Phil's audiobooks and bought some of his physical books, and that was really solid information. So after all that research, I felt like Phil was the right person to get me to where I was wanting to go. And then the structure of the program was going to help accelerate me and be the resource that I needed.
Gotcha. Well, as you were doing your research, and of course, there's no shortage of information available out there. Why not just pursue real estate on your own? Why did you feel like you needed a mentor?
Fear of the unknown, and also just the fact that I wanted to take it seriously. I didn't want to just dabble in it. I wanted to like really make a career out of it. So there was the education that I was going to be receiving, the help from the coaches, and the accountability of being in the program is what made me want to, invest into a coaching program like this. I think if I wouldn't have done that, I may have never taken it as seriously, and I may have tried to do it myself and maybe made some mistakes and then said, "Oh, hey, this isn't for me." And I wanted to get it, and I just wanted to get good at it fast. Like I didn't want it to take a year. I didn't want it to take 2 years to start making money. I wanted to make money, right away.
Yeah, no time to pursue this as a hobby and get hobby results. You were ready to take real estate serious, take it to the next level, and reduce the learning curve to a minimum. And that's an important piece you recognize that you wanted to work with someone active in the market that's doing deals. Well, all our coaches are investors. Since we work across the country with apprentices, we all learn together in very different dynamic markets, and we benefit each other as a community. What stood out to you about the Freedom Mentor community?
When I initially started, you made a great point there. The fact that you guys have multiple coaches in multiple areas and you've been doing this for a long time, I think that that gives you an advantage because you've got so many data points, right? You're working deals all across the country. You're the first to know market shifts. And I think each student, I certainly benefited from the just the amount of data and experience that you're doing because I mean, at this point, I would imagine you guys have done thousands or I don't know, more, multiple thousands of deals across the community. So yeah, it's an aggregate of that data and that experience that there's almost nothing you guys haven't seen. So I certainly know nothing I did surprised you, although it was sometimes surprising for me that you guys were the cool heads and the ones that would keep things on track.
And that's really just mastering this business through closing so many deals. We learn in each one, and there's always nuances, changes, distinctions to make. You joined us on a lot of group coaching calls, heard other apprentices working on deals, heard the challenges others work through, and it really helps you avoid a lot of them. We just make each other better. And it's unique because these aren't your competitors in your local market. Well, Nick, you did a lot of different types of deals, some rehabs and flips, but also some creative flips with Subject 2. Were there any that stood out as particularly memorable for you? Any you really uniquely enjoyed?
A couple come to mind right away. So there's the ones that were, I don't know, the most fulfilling in different ways, I would say. So one that stands out, we did actually a wholesale deal. It ended up being a wholesale. We decided, that the profitability of that would make the most sense. And what you guys had talked about a lot was the quick nickel versus the slow dime. And this one happened to be a pretty quick dime. We wholesaled it. The profit on that deal was about $35,000, and we never lifted a hammer, never took the risk of spending any money. So that one stands out. But then there's two rehabs that stand out. The very last deal we did, which was a beach house, which was just a lot of fun. You know, the HGTV type of rehab that we completed. Certainly, my wife was excited about that one. She wanted to keep it, but I got greedy. And then we did another rehab that was pretty significant, beautiful, multiple acre property. And then we did a full interior and exterior rehab on that deal, and just watching the property transition, the befores and afters are always fun to do. And so then the cherry on top of all that was just finding a cool family that would buy the property. They get their dream house. We make money. We gentrify the community. So those are a couple that stand out. And then one more that I'll mention was just a strategy that, I never really would have thought of as existing, which was, again, the benefit of working with you guys, because you've got every different way to work a deal. So we did a creative deal that was a wholesale, where we tied up the property, but then we sold it on the MLS. Again, didn't have to own it at that time, but we were able to really help somebody. It was actually a man that was a disabled veteran, and he was looking for a solution. We were able to come in. I made some great rapport with him, and then we were able to get him out of the property and into a new property closer to his family, so that he could sort of live out the rest of his time that he had with his family. He was just super grateful for us coming in and assisting him. So that was kind of something that was a misconception for me, was, oh, getting properties at a discount. Is this hurting anyone? Is this, are we taking advantage of anybody? But I can't remember a single deal where the owners weren't like actually grateful for us helping them out. So I thought that was pretty cool about the industry.
Yeah, and as we discussed, this is a people business. And it's really learning to communicate and understand someone's unique real estate problem, and then creating a solution that's a win for them and for us. You mentioned before that your wife also looked at the program and was supportive. Was that the case as well when it came to sharing in profits with Freedom Mentor?
Again, that was something that both myself and my wife were hesitant about, but again, we took the leap. We felt like it was a good idea. But to me, it was imperative for you guys to have skin in the game. Really, like, you guys are benefiting from this as much as I am. And so I felt like it was great accountability for Freedom Mentor to, they benefit from helping me even more. It's not just like, oh, he's already paid us, and let's put him to the side. It was, no, we're in this together, and we have similar interests in this. And when I win, you win, right? So that was actually something that was attractive to me about the program versus other ones that don't have that aspect, because I did feel like, and I did experience the fact that you guys were part of the team to do whatever it took to get it across the finish line.
Right. And those mutually aligned interests are so important because, as you said, it keeps us all working for the same goal. We succeed and profit together, and you develop so much experience and skill in the process. Well, you've obviously met your goal. You've made $500,000 with us in net real estate profits. How did it feel to get to that point and finally graduate?
There was almost like there was a part of me that was like doubting whether it would ever happen at all. And so I certainly had doubts. I didn't know if I would ever make it, how long it would take if I did. But what I committed to was just following the process and taking it one day at a time. Just getting in, getting educated, and starting to do deals. When we finally got there and crossed the finish line, yeah, it was kind of surreal, kind of probably how athletes feel whenever they win a championship, right? Like this is what they've been working for so long, and it's finally here. But it felt gratifying because I could look in the mirror and say, "Hey, look, you did it, and now you have this skill that will carry you forward for the rest of your life."
That's great. That's great. What would you tell a beginner, someone that's just getting started in real estate? I mean, definitely no one in your market. You don't want to. We don't want to create any competitors for you. But what kind of advice would you give someone new to real estate that's trying to decide if they need a mentor?
I would say that I think that, yeah, honestly, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I didn't have the experience in the industry, so I wouldn't let that be an excuse for you. And I would also say there's no free lunch in life. Like no one's gonna hand it to you, right? So you've gotta be accountable to yourself, and you've got to take the actions in order to create the life that you're wanting. It's risky, yes. It's scary, yes. But you you've got somebody that will hold your hand and get you there. Like it took a lot of work. And there were challenges and there were scary times. But if you just trust the process and lean on the coaches, then you'll get there too.
Sure. And it's a journey, and problems are going to come up, and mistakes can be made when you're learning. But you joined us to avoid those and to have guidance when they occur. What are the biggest mistakes you think an investor can make?
I've certainly made a good number of mistakes myself, but I've been able to mitigate a lot of the risk and loss by having, counsel and coaches, you guys. Some of the ones that stand out would be just rushing in without proper education, for example, where that actually will hurt you or kill your real estate is, not getting the correct inspections on a property, not knowing how to deal with contractors, overpaying for things, not knowing how to underwrite the property correctly, and not having multiple exit options. All of those are just five of 1,000 potential problems that you could run into. Those five stand out to me because I've heard horror stories about them actually happening.
Absolutely. And so much of what we're trying to do, as you indicated, we're trying to shortcut the process to success. There's no shortcut for the hard work that has to be done, but avoiding wasted time and as many mistakes as possible, not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's so important. Well, Nick, what has been your overall experience with the Freedom Mentor program?
It's been awesome. I mean, I've spent a lot of time talking with you personally, and I've spent time with Phil, and some of the other coaches as well. And just the comfort, knowing that you guys had a lot of the answers to the problems that would arise, uh, whether it be marketing challenges or, what to do with a seller that's upset or how to deal with title companies. With Freedom Mentor, you guys were the guiding light. And I'll be forever grateful for that, honestly, because it affected my family's life. I've got three kids. I've got a wife. I support all four of them. And not only have you allowed me to support them, but with this specific skill set and this industry, I can also make my own schedule, spend more time with them, go on vacations, play with my kids when they get home from school, and not miss these precious years of their lives. So it's been a lot more than just the money in the bank account.
Well said. That's so true. And speaking of the future, what does the future look like for you in real estate and moving your business forward?
I'll continue doing what we did together and doing it at a bigger level. I've created a great life for myself. I've got all the teams and processes in place. And now it's just continuing to improve on that. You guys got me where I needed to go. And I plan to just continue to grow things while you guys are still a resource.
Awesome. Well, Nick, considering where you started out after having lost your job, trying to figure out where to go next, knowing you wanted to learn how to build a real estate business and you turned to Freedom Mentor to teach you to do that, and And here you are now. You've accomplished your goal. You have a thriving real estate business, control of your financial future. How does it feel to be you now?
Promising and hopeful, right? Versus scary and unknown. I feel very confident in my abilities to, create the life that I'm looking for and make the income that I want with this skill. So yeah, things are looking good.
That's wonderful. And what a blessing to see what we've been able to achieve together. It's really just a springboard for your even brighter future. Well, thank you so much for sharing all you have. I know there are people listening right now that are thinking a lot of the same things you initially were. You were ready to take control, you were ready to put in the hard work, you just needed the right vehicle, and you knew you needed the right mentoring and coaches. I'm so glad you joined Freedom Mentor for the journey, Nick. Thank you for taking time to talk with us today.
Anytime, Brian. And thank you for all that you've done for me again. And to anyone, I guess in closing, to anyone that is on the fence thinking about it, I think it's pretty apparent that real estate is the right vehicle based on all the fortunes that it's made. And I would definitely confirm that Freedom Mentor is the right coach to get you there. Hopefully that anyone that watches this has the courage to step forward and then put in the work to get it done.
Well, as you just heard, Nick turned his unfortunate job loss into an opportunity to take a different path in life, which ultimately led to control over his financial future. Maybe you can relate to the crossroads he was at. Maybe you're not happy with your career or frustrated with your job. Maybe your job isn't paying you what you know you're worth. Creative real estate investing is the best small business there is, and it will pay you what you're worth and give you control of your financial life. Now, as you discovered, Nick had a side hustle which helped him cover some bills while he was getting started. So hear me clearly. Don't run out and quit your job. We literally have a video explaining why you shouldn't do that right away. However, with the right mentor and a reasonable timeline, you too can achieve success. Nick knew that, and that's why he chose Freedom Mentor to guide him every step of the way. If you want the opportunity to build a successful future like Nick has, apply to our apprentice program with the link in the description. And if you have questions about anything you've heard today, text FREEDOM to 305-315-8030 or comment below. We appreciate your feedback. Again, I'm Brian Bush with freedommentor.com. Thanks for watching.